How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today we're going over a video by McCann Dog Training. This video is titled Teach Your Dog to Work Before They Walk. So if you want to see this video first, go over to YouTube, check out McCann, M-C-A-N-N, Dog Training. And this is their video. This is one from their third video down, their third most recent video. Somebody asked me to look into McCann, so I want to have a little bit of variety for you all here. So this is teaching your dog to work before they walk. So I don't know whatever that means, but we're going to get into it.
Most popular things that we do actually has nothing to do with a 6-foot leash. So I'm actually going to switch out my leash, which eventually...
So I want you all to notice, okay, so we have a treat bag, we have a toy, we have what looks like maybe another leash back there, maybe that's for the toy. But notice how she's kind of heavy-handed with the handling of the leash and the collar. You know, she doesn't seem very soft from what I'm seeing. She's kind of just very, very grabby, very, you know, you can teach your dog to ignore that, but to me that just says a little bit, you know, dog gave a lip lick.
Whoop, for a long line. Now,
okay, so she handled that pretty.
A little bit of freedom to Steven. You can see he's going
very
to check
nice.
out the flowers. My training can literally start now.
So she handled that, you know, the leash sliding out of her hands very nicely. She didn't just yank on it or grab him back. You know, she didn't just hold on, so he ends up clotheslining himself. I appreciate that. He is on a flat buckle collar, it looks like. For a puppy, I would always start them on a harness, especially on a long line. And if we're out here, I don't know how long they've been working. She says level 1, leash, respect, and listening. I'm very picky when it comes to words, because people have different meanings for those words. So when she says leash, respect, you know, respect the end of the leash, I would rather them learn to be soft on leash and not, you know, for me, respect means, I have a different definition than maybe anybody else or everybody else. To me, respect can mean, you know, you better, you know, don't you dare, you're going to get popped, or, you know, it can equal pain or aversion or an aversive technique. These guys are already not my favorite trainers out there. I personally wouldn't recommend them, but I mean, for anybody else who likes them, go for it. Listening, yes, is important. But I don't know how long she's been working with this puppy, especially, I don't know if he's ready for this type of environment even. So I don't know if they're going to be fair in teaching him to be able to expect him to respect a leash or listen.
Now, I'm going to try calling his name. Steven! Yay!
Oh, what a good man.
Good boy!
Good.
So what I'm going to do is...
I will say, okay. It seems kind of cloudy, so sunglasses, you know, it might not be so bright that she needs sunglasses. Even if it is bright out there, working with a dog with sunglasses can lead to more confusion, because they need to be able to see your eyes. They look for your eyes, and they follow your eyes where you point. That's part of the domestication process with dogs that has happened, and we also teach it and reinforce it. So wearing sunglasses can be a bit of a problem. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be a problem, but I would take a check mark off. You know, you lose points for wearing sunglasses while training. I do give her points, though, for when she called him and he looked at her, she started running backwards. Very important. She kept going backwards until he caught up to her. So watch as she does this.
Good
Backwards,
boy!
and then he catches up, and then she's ready with that reward. Very good. Because a lot of times people will say, Goofy, come, and they're just standing there, just like this. Bent over or standing up, straight.
What I'm going to do with my leash training is just literally start on getting Steven to listen to me without any tension on the leash. And it is a lot
Okay, so it looks like she gave him a jackpot reward. That's fine.
On a 20-foot line than it is a 6-foot line. So I've given him a few treats. Now I'm just going to tell
I like
him,
the biothane leash.
I'm just going to sort of let him
I love a long line.
Especially
Especially if I'm having a puppy learning this, and I'm going to be teaching them loose leash, I would have them on a harness probably. Just for safety.
I'm going to change direction. Steven! Yes,
Steven is a
good
cutie.
boy!
Good job!
Yay! And when he's distracted, I'm going to call his name and encourage him to come back to me. Now, you'll notice when I reward him, you'll see how close I get him before I reward. Now, you're probably thinking, this doesn't look anything like leash walking. I know, that's the point. We're going to work a little bit, and I'm going to get a bit of tension on the leash there.
So that might have been a pop, which I don't like. That looked like she let it go tight, and she actually physically pulled back on the leash to pop him. She didn't necessarily give him a release cue, so I wouldn't say he was wrong for running away to go check out the camera person or the butterfly or make friends with a worm or caterpillar or whatever. For me, if I have a recall and they come back to me, even if the recall is their name, I want to give them a release word, which could be anything. I usually say, okay, or free, or go sniff. I don't just use praise as the release. Maybe they do, but it can be confusing where the dog is at a distance or across the street or wherever, and you want to be able to keep them in a stay or whatever you're working on, and you want to give them praise and say, hey, you're doing a good job. Keep doing that, stay there. I'm telling you, you're doing a good job, but that doesn't release you. And then you keep doing your whatever la-di-da-di-da, or say there's a truck going by, and then you can say, okay. Then you can say, okay, or you can use the recall, or whatever you want to do to keep the dog coming forward. So for me, and that was a little sneaky.
I'm going to work.
She might have popped him, so I'm going to keep an eye on it.
Some leash respect and some listening skills. Oh, that's a good boy. Now you'll notice when he moved that direction, the line actually went tight. I simply responded by giving him a couple pulses on the leash. So
she did pop him twice. Nice that we have this other camera angle, unless she set him up for failure. So I don't like that. Especially not when you have this much leverage on a 20-foot line on a puppy on a collar. Although it's a flat buckle collar, if it was anything else, it would be abusive, in my opinion. No, I wouldn't like this on a harness. You don't need to go pulsing and popping. It's not pulsing, it's popping. Popping. I mean, leash pulses with a finger, maybe. But still, I wouldn't be okay with that. Unless you're trying to get their attention, like, okay, that's one thing. But that was popping. And when you have 20 feet, or in this case, maybe 18 feet, it doesn't matter. 18, 15, 16, 6, 5, 2, or 1 foot, there's still leverage there. And especially with the more leverage, the more length you have, the more leverage you have.
Encourage him to come back in my direction. Now
so why didn't she just use her body? He came twice the first 2 times just fine. Why didn't she use her body? Why didn't she just call him back? Is it because she didn't think that he could come back? That she didn't trust him? I don't care if the dog runs away from me right away. Okay, great. He runs away. I'm going to use my hand as a slight break. And we see here she's slowly shortening the leash up. These are all things that I keep an eye for to see, are these trainers being honest or are they not? Because this is why it's not consistent between the trainer and the owner, because the trainers may or may not even be aware of what they're doing.
This is sort of lying down. Now, I like that he's lying down and looking at me, but I'm not really getting much engagement, so I'm going to work a little harder.
I would reward him for laying down and not pulling. I would go sit with him. I would sit in the grass here. I would go sit with him over there. I would just chill with him, occasionally give him a little treat. If he gets up and crawls on me, okay, I'll just wait for him to lay down again. I would absolutely take this moment. The dog, one, keeps you honest, and they help you to learn that to be flexible with your training. I always tell my clients, be flexible with training. You may think you're training your dog something, but they need to be taught something else. They're telling you what they need to work on. So be flexible. You may be trying to teach loose leash or recall, but you know what? This is a perfect example. Change it up and just sit with them and really reinforce calm behavior. This is looks like a perfect day to just go sit in this nice grassy field with your little pup. This could have been a response that he now has less trust with her because she popped him and he got tight. Dogs keep you honest.
Let him come close to me. Ready? Steven, this way. Yay, good boy. Right here, this way. Good boy, that's it.
They have a store. Apparently they have like 21-foot long lines. You can go on Amazon and get them too. You can go to a number of places. You can get your own material and make your own leash, which will probably be much cheaper. I don't know how... they have limited shipping areas. Apparently Amazon, I'm sure, can do worldwide. So if you want to support them, then I guess go support them. Otherwise, I'm sure it's cheaper if you go on Amazon, or even cheaper if you make your own. You can go to Etsy, support a small shop, and there's people who have rolls and rolls of this, and you just get it in any color you want to, any thickness you want to, like width-wise, and you can get it in any length and just keep a couple extra inches in mind for if you get your clip and your handle, that you want a couple extra inches to fold over your clip and to make into your handle. Get a couple rivets, you're good to go.
Steven. Yes, good boy.
Or there's also small creators on Etsy that make their own leash. They make beautiful pieces of work. So if you want to support a small shop, it may or may not be more expensive than them, but you can support a small business.
Hey, he is like, what the heck are
Again,
you doing?
loud by
He's a good
yanking
boy.
that leash out.
So,
I mean, I might do that later on as a proofing thing,
so I'm gonna
but
make it a little bit easier. Steven. Yes.
so we had
Steven.
an ad.
Yes, good. Steven. Yay, good boy. This way. Yeah, so
Good
now what I'm
boy,
doing
he's
is
so
increasing the
stinking
reward,
cute.
the rate of rewards, and I'm not making him go too far before he gets a reward. Yes, come all the way in. So I'm never going to reach to my puppy to give her a reward. He's always going to come in towards me. Look at you,
I mean, I can
good.
see that point that you're, but when you think about never and always, there's no absolutes in the world, especially not in the world of animals. So, is there anything wrong with reaching out, like, arm's length to give your pup a treat? I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's not important to me enough, or important enough to me, rather. English. It just depends on your own personal priority.
This is excellent. Good. Now, the cool thing about this, yes, is that I'm actually able to just let the leash drag a little bit now. I don't have to hold it because he's making such good effort. Wow.
Well, you didn't have to in the first place. Like, the first couple of times, yeah. But if you hadn't popped him, don't try to act like, that I mean, it could have been because of the pop. Chances are... Sorry, there's a branch outside my window that was just flying around. I thought... I could have sworn it was an arm, but I'm on the second level, so... that'd be kind of creepy, but, anyway... I'm all sorts of distracted. Like this puppy would be. But he could be doing this because of the pop. Some people may claim that. She may even claim that he's doing it now because it's reinforcing.
Good boy.
Because of the food reward.
I am loving what I'm seeing here. So the next thing that I'm going to start to do...
I don't think she needs to quite continue. That's the thing about people who are either crossover trainers or people who use corrections a lot, is that there's so much on one end. They do the extremes. That if they're not overcorrecting or correcting in an aversive manner, then they're over-rewarding. Right now, I would be fine to just give him one little snack, one little treat every few seconds. Maybe, 4 or 5 times a minute. And just stand around. Just walk, and as he hangs out with me, reward. Let him sniff. Wait for him to, get distracted and look at me on his own. That's just what I would do.
Transfer some of this movement to a 6
Good.
foot
He sat
leash.
down.
He was able to stay within
Reward.
6 feet.
She missed her opportunity to reward because she's so focused on quick, feed while I can, feed. That's her mindset. That now that she's talking and he was sitting and he says, hey, well, you were giving me lots of rewards before. Now you're not. Okay, I'm bored. I'm going to go away. That would be the moment that I would wait to reward. And I can reward a dog while I'm talking and training. She missed her opportunity. That's what she's going to do.
So we're going to move on. Now I don't have the... Oh, yes, good boy. I don't have the line.
So she stepped on the line. We have maybe a lip lick starting, but a short lip. So she lost 2 opportunities to reward. The first time was when he was sitting and she saw it and she ignored it. You should have rewarded there. Second time, when he started walking away and he looked at her, she could have backed away to call him to her to reward there. She didn't. She lets him continue moving, and then she steps on the leash and corrects him.
My hands, I'm just going to step on it. Where are you going?
He's leaving because you weren't paying attention to him, because you don't actually understand time and feel, and you rely on corrections. This is not the end of the world, but as a trainer who, was giving out lessons and their shop, and I'm sure they charge thousands of dollars, and I don't know, all that fancy, gobbledygook. She's not a very good trainer. If this is them saying, teach your dog to work before they walk, you need to learn to work before you work your dog before they walk.
Better choice. Yes, good.
So the correction was not necessary. He may be over compensating because of the correction, because that was about 18 feet away, and then he gets, although it's a wide flat buckle collar, that's dangerous. And you're teaching your dog to be loud, and that's a pretty hard pop.
Okay.
She should have rewarded there, simply there, for him laying down. But no, she can never, ever reach to her dog. I would have rewarded there. I wouldn't have stepped on the leash unless it was an absolute, mad dash to save him, but I assume that they're in a fenced-in area. Maybe she's doing a private lesson. I don't know. If she is, then she's not doing very well. The people should get a refund or a partial refund. Just in my opinion, that she's not, she could have rewarded further down and then continued rewarding. That would be the moment when I would continue rewarding. But she's not consistent.
Yes, good. So that was actually a great example. I love having the long line on because if he decides to run away or do his own thing, I don't have to panic. I don't have to chase him. I can just step on the line. Wow.
So he's smarter than her in that he learned. No, you shouldn't. The point of the long line is not to give your dog a correction from further away. If you're worried about that, hold on to the long line. Don't drop it then. Hold on to the leash. That's the whole point of it. But she uses it to be sneaky, to correct the dog. And most people won't even notice. But I do.
Oh, yes. Okay, buddy, good.
So she waited again. He could have run away then again. She waited a second too long before he giving him the chance to move away, and then he would have corrected himself again. But it's really not him correcting himself, it's her correcting him. Because she's standing on the leash and he doesn't know. So as soon as he looks at me, I back away. Just like this. Body language like this, and she backs away.
That's a really good choice.
Oh, she didn't even back away. So now she's getting lazier because she thinks, oh, we've done 2 or 3 repetitions. Now you should know better. And now I'm going to get lazy and I'm tired and I'm going to, I'm a lazy, entitled human and I think, that I can just, correct you and then reward you when I want to. When I think that it's appropriate.
So do you see that? He went all the way almost to the end of the line, but he actually
checked
avoided
in.
Attention.
And that was... How many seconds was that? 2 or 3? As soon as he looks at me, I'm bending down and backing away. And that leash would be on around my thumb, my hand, my wrist. I mean, he's tiny. I could put the loop on my wrist. I don't care. He's not going to go flying anywhere. It would be tied around my person somewhere. It would not be dragging on the ground. Especially if I'm just trying to teach him to pay attention to me.
It's telling me he's starting to get this. He's starting to understand.
He's trying to avoid correction.
That tension is not good, and moving back.
That's not how you teach loose leash. I always leave a link in the description below to how I teach loose leash and how I taught my Shiba to be so soft that I could literally take a stick and put it in the ground on a 6-foot leash on any length of leash that was hooked to the back of his harness. And if he felt that tension, then he would think that he was stuck. If he felt this much tension, this could get, stuck on, it could be like this much. And he would say, oh, I'm stuck, let me sit down. And he would just wait for me. Which made using a retractable leash a little bit more difficult because he would not pull on that. The strength of having a retractable leash, that little metal coil in there that keeps the leash retracted, was too strong, and he felt that he was stuck and he wasn't moving forward. So I would have to reel it out myself, lock it in place, and then he could walk, and this leash would literally be flapping in the wind. And it was essentially like he was off leash, but I still had that as a backup. It took us a long time before I felt comfortable and trusted him with the retractable leash, and I was always aware of everything in our area. If he saw a squirrel or another dog, he was a little uppity because he'd been attacked a few times on leash, but when he was on, he was used to being on a long line, on a retractable, on, many different types of leashes. But I loved walking with him on a long line.
Me and being on a loose leash and being close. Yes, good boy.
So again, you lost your opportunity. And so now he's going to get corrected because of your ignorance, your bad timing, your laziness, whatever you want to call it.
Here? Yes.
He's trying to think. He's confused. Ouch.
Good choice, buddy.
No, he doesn't have a choice, dummy. Now you're just being lazy, and I don't... You're not a good trainer. You're actually a really poor trainer. Lazy,
Yay,
ignorant.
Good boy. So tension on the leash means you need to move back towards me.
Which I teach that, but not in this sense. I literally will teach a dog to give in to this much pressure. It's not coming off my head yet. Okay? I'm using 1 finger's worth. These headphones are not coming off my head. I will use this much to move them left or right. I'm not, you see it can come off fairly easy. I'm not yanking them off. But I use enough to not even take the headphones off of my head. Now, if you want to see how easy that, see? 2 fingers. It's caught on my hat, so otherwise, it would come off. But I use enough to not even take these headphones off my head. On the back of a harness. To teach the dog, giving into pressure left or right. Take them off balance 1 step. And then instantly release that tension. Check out the video in the description below. The loose leash walking.
Boy, okay, let's go on to the next step. Now, some of you that are watching might not have a backyard to practice in. I don't want you to get too stuck on the location of the training. What you're really looking for
so we ad break number 2
that has even like literally a 10 by 10 space. You don't need a lot of area where you can work with your dog with minimal distractions with them on a leash. And you have.
I would say start working inside the house, and as soon as your dog is like picture perfect inside the house, then start working in the backyard. If that becomes too distracting, then just open the back door, open the front door, and start working still inside the house, walking by that front door. Inside the house. You're not outside yet. Then you can start walking through the door and come right back in. Just go through that threshold and come right back in and practice that with the tension game. And you can check out Kiko Pup. She has a great I'll put her link in, to the loose leash game, tension pressure game in the description below as well. She has a great awesome tutorial for that. And then you just go through the door, and you might go a little bit further down past your door, down your little walkway, and then back, and you just increase it slowly, bit by bit.
Opportunity to move in a couple different directions.
So the puppy was kind of chewing on her, and she took his collar and kind of grabbed his head and moved it that way. I'm not saying that's anything here nor there. I'm just aware of that, and I want people to be able to spot that.
Move the coffee table out of the way, or in their kitchen, and so that you can move with your dog on a loose leash, and then graduate to somewhere that's a little bit more.
So she's trying to distract him.
And free.
Good. He laid down. Didn't notice it. This is when I would reward. He is so good at trying awesome behaviors, but she doesn't ever notice
like
them.
That are always really good because they're.
So now he's sitting. Now he's pawing.
The area that you're practicing very small at first, and then
she's
going to
correct him
into working into a bigger location.
She put the leash kind of in his mouth. She missed every opportunity. Every time he lays down, she doesn't reward. She calls him to her. She messes up and misses him. Sunglasses really, really, really don't help. Because you want him to engage with you. How is he going to engage with these giant fly lady sunglasses? He can't see anything. It's like this.
So Steven did pretty well on a.
He did amazing on the long line. You, on the other hand, sucked.
Long line, and I only did it for a few
minutes. He's not paying attention, so he's going to run away from you. You don't need to do the popping, because now he's going to start to shut down. Sorry.
See, there we go. That's
See, now you had to drag him to you. He's trying to avoid you because you're not a good trainer and you don't understand timing and release. And
right there is super important to comment on, because the average person often will get distracted by this person talking to them or having to do that thing, and then all of a sudden your dog's been pulling on the leash or dragging you somewhere. And
just like you missed all the opportunities to reward him when he was actually doing the right behavior, giving you awesome options, laying down, sitting down, looking at you, staying with you, chilling. So don't be talking about people, of course they want to make sure that you understand the timing to correct, but not the timing to reward. These people really just irritate me. I'm going to try and make this video short. I got some other stuff to do today, so I'm just going to make this one kind of a little sneak peek into this video. If you want me to go over the rest of this video, then please leave a cheese emoji in the comments, and let me know that you want me to go over the rest, and I'll be sure to save this video at this time And we'll go over the rest of it in a future video. So thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you all are doing well. Go say hi to your little babies, whatever they may be, whatever species they are. Give them some kind of loving and say howdy do for me. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.